Alrighty. I know Katie, our secretary was stuck on transportation, but she should be here very shortly. So we'll make sure we get all that covered too. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 7:32 Eastern Time, 6:32 Central Time. Again, please complete the attendance link. I will copy and share that again. I'm working with too many screens and everything's moving on me. Here we go. Try that. Here is our agenda for this evening. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
This is Jennifer. I move to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Jennifer. Rolling as I go.
This is Ashley. I second.
Thanks, Ashley. All those in favor, go ahead and raise your hand. Virtual hand is appreciated, so it'll add it all up for me. Go ahead and lower your hands. Any opposed? All right. Okay. And as a reminder, as a general business meeting. It's not just executive committee members that are able to vote, it's all of the membership. So I know when we have our executive committee meetings, our standing committee reps are not able to vote. That's not the case this evening. So get those hands up. All right. So the first thing on our agenda is actually the approval of our minutes from our March meeting. And as Katie and I were prepping for this, it came to our attention, as many of you know, we were changing over our executive committee after the GLR meeting. The current minutes are incomplete. However, I do believe we have a recording of that meeting from conference. So Katie and I have touched base and we're going to work on filling in the holes because there are many holes at this point. And put them up on the screen so that you could see. Basically, we didn't have anything beyond state reports within the minutes. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to table the vote on these minutes until we can get them filled in and get them approved at our next general business meeting in March. So we're going to table the approval of the minutes at this point until they are more complete. Which is going to bring us to the treasurer's report. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen so that Alicia can do her report. There we go. All right, Alicia, you should be able to.
Thanks, Kelly. Hi, everybody. Good to see everybody tonight. I am going to share a PowerPoint here in just a second, which will remove most of your faces from my screen. So if there are questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat so that I can take a look after I stop sharing my screen. If there's an urgent question, please feel free to cut in, but there will be time for questions at the end. Just to orient our brains about what we're going to hear about, I'm going to talk about some strategy around the treasurer's role and how I'm thinking about that and how we're thinking about that moving forward, and some updates around that. Some updates to the budget process for fiscal year 2026, and then I'm going to go through our finances. So it should be pretty quick and painless. Here we go. Thank you, thank you. Okay, perfect. Okay, so starting with some updates. We are working to establish some policies and procedures that will allow the Office of the Treasurer to operate as independently of an individual person as possible. So in coming into the treasurer role in March, and switching over with officers, there were some things that became clear in terms of our finances and how our policies were operating. And especially without a treasurer-elect and the opportunity to then pass down institutional knowledge so that someone else is then taking up the mantle, it will behoove us to have policies and procedures that can operate outside of an individual person so that whoever is the treasurer can come in and execute the role in a way that best serves the region. And so you might be saying, Lisha, what does that look like? Let me tell you, that's a great question. One of the things is that we have a subscription with QuickBooks, which is an online booking platform. And that we're going to be using as the central bookkeeping hub. That platform allows us to connect to our bank accounts. It allows us so that when transactions hit our bank accounts, it goes through that platform and we can see everything. Our accounting firm can use that bookkeeping platform and track our transactions for us. And then when it comes time for reporting on things like our 990 or other reporting procedures, everything is generated for us. And so it again takes that like personal person like inputting data out of the equation and allows for this software to take a lot of the responsibility. Another thing is the reliance on Sidekick, which is our accounting firm, to organize our finances. They are an amazing accounting firm that we have hired to help us with a lot of our bookkeeping, a lot of our financial reporting, and they are able to, per their contract, which I checked, track our finances, take a look at our finances, look at our budget, classify our transactions and accounts, help us with our reporting procedures, and are able to really provide that service, right? So that it's not necessarily, again, on one individual person that may not have that institutional knowledge from years and years and years of being on executive committee. The treasurer will still fulfill the role that the bylaws state that they need to fulfill. So please rest assured that nothing is changing. They will still be providing an organizational financial check. They will still be paying all of the bills. They will still be, providing financial strategy and fulfilling all of the reporting and requests and all of the job responsibilities that are outlined in the bylaws. So nothing is changing there. This is simply a different way of looking at the role and policies and procedures related to how the role is executed. Okay, currently some things that are happening. We have had some issues with our current fiscal year budget and what has been reported in our QuickBooks software and with our accounting firm. There is no major issue. Our finances are matching. The accounts with our bank and the accounts with our accounting firm, everything is matching, but how things have been classified have gotten a little wonky. The accounting firm is aware of this, and we know exactly where the problem occurred. We have talked about it. We know what happened. We know how it happened. And so we know better, and now we're going to do better. What it's causing is us to not have such great data on our account classifications for this budget year. So how much money was spent on scholarships and how much money was spent on AV and or for conference isn't exactly clear. However, we are working through this. We had a meeting with the accounting firm last week. We talked through this issue. When I went in to pull the reports last night, I was stunned because nothing looked the way that it had looked a week ago. And the accounting firm has already gone in to work through and try to fix things. So they are actively working on this. And then we have a meeting, myself and the accounting firm, to go through at the end of the fiscal year, which is in December, to walk through every transaction that looks wonky still and make sure that it's put in the right spot. So we also have a plan to fix things as best we can. Is it going to be 100% perfect? I can't guarantee that it's going to be 100% perfect, but it's going to be, as best we can. And it's already much better. I was stunned last night when I went in to pull the reports. It looks fantastic. I was so pleased. A plan has been identified moving forward and what the fiscal years moving forward are going to look like. I'm confident we're going to be in a much better position in fiscal year 2026 and beyond. A main part of this is communication between us and our accounting firm on the budget and how we classify things in our budgeting process. What exactly we put in our conference line items, what exactly we put in our scholarship line items in terms of community support, and making sure that that communication is clear. I am very confident that we will be in a much better position. In terms of fiscal year 2026, our finance committee has been established. Thank you so much to Todd and Jennifer, who have been absolutely amazing and instrumental in helping build the budget for fiscal year 2026. I truly could not have done it without them, and I cannot thank them for their time and dedication. Thank you so much. The budget for fiscal year 2026 has been drafted. We do have a draft. It has been presented to the accounting firm for review. So that is good. We are hoping to present that draft budget at the October 13th executive committee meeting. And then there will likely need to be some edits. There's already some things that are highlighted, comments that are in it that we're just going to need to talk through, which is common of any budgeting process. And then we're hoping that we'll have a final draft presented. It needs to be approved by the end of this fiscal year so it can be in place on January 1. And we're in a good position for that. Our current finances, our balance as of yesterday was $46,863.14 in both the bank and the accounting software. I love it when they match. I put yay every time because it just makes me so happy when everything matches. Our revenue report, again, as of last night, for this fiscal year, so this is fiscal year 2025, which again runs from January 1 of 2025 through December 31st of 2025. Conference revenue is sitting at that little over 117,000. Membership dues up through quarter 3, so we do not have quarter 4 yet, is $3,817.36. Award revenue is $1,850.62. PayPal sales is $310.95. And then we have some uncategorized income at $1,518.13 for a total of $125,070.21. Our expenses as of last night, our grants, awards and related items, $7,259.34. Our professional fees, which include accounting, AV contract, entertainers, etc., is $24,063.74. Our operational expenses, such as subscriptions, gifts, supplies, printing, and the website, is sitting at $16,913.97. Our facility and equipment, such as our conference venue and exhibits, is $67,027.95. Travel and meetings is currently sitting at $1,615.87. And others, so this is advertising, interest expenses, licenses and permits, merchant fees, is $4,888.51 for a total of $121,916.67. Our bottom line means that we are currently sitting in the green for a profit of $3,153.54, which is great. A nonprofit in the green is great, or in the black. It's green on here, but in the black is great. So yay, that is good news. Our balance sheet for our assets and then liabilities and equity is currently sitting at $103,381.90. And then this is a link to our current fiscal year 2025 budget for anyone that feels so inclined to view it. It does not show our actuals in terms of what we have spent. That is currently now in QuickBooks, and I pulled that information from those actuals last night. All right, I saw some things coming in the chat. So let me stop sharing, see what's going on.
Just telling you how wonderful you are.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Any questions that I can answer? If questions come up, please feel free to email me at the treasurer@glr-amta.org email. I'm happy to answer them. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. You've done lots of work getting stuff straightened out, and we've also, in addition to switching over our officers, we also switched banks, and that's been quite the adventure. So many thanks. All right, my report is next. I'm working on getting the share. This is what I need. Here we go. All right, hopefully. All right. Yeah. All right. So I just wanted to start off by putting our current mission statement, vision, and core values. If you are unfamiliar with this several years of strategic planning went into creating this mission statement, vision, and core values. Just wanted to pop it up here real quick. It is also on our website if you would like to explore it in more depth if you haven't seen it. We have also created a conflict agreement within the GLR, and we utilize and reference this particularly when we are having discussions that are, we might have a lot of differing views. So this is the shared community conflict agreement. I also wanted to make that publicly known. So first off, some thank yous. Thank you all for being here. I know that especially if your Monday's been anything like mine, it's been a bit of an adventure. So joining us here on this Monday evening is really appreciated. Thank you to all of our executive committee members. Here is a list of all of them. I do want to give a special shout out to Laurel Rosen-Weatherford. Our executive committee doesn't know this yet, but Laurel has decided that she needs to step down from her position as outreach coordinator. So we really appreciate her and all the work she's done for the GLR. She's been active with the executive committee basically since about 2018. So many thanks to Laurel as well as the rest of our executive committee. Our standing committee members, big thanks to you all as well. and our Assembly of Delegates and alternates that are finishing up their term here within the next couple months. So with that said, we still do have some open positions. In addition to the DEI committee representative, which has been open, we also have the outreach coordinator position we are looking for individuals who would be interested in that. And then the open committee representatives include the academic program approval committee, the DEI AJ committee, the interprofessional collaborative resources committee, which used to be the affiliate relations committee, and then the standards of clinical practice committee. So there is a new, just updated call for service that now includes the outreach coordinator. And there's a link to it, both with the QR code and then linked here in the document. If anyone is considering those, we would love to talk to you and either give you some more information or to have you submit a letter of interest. So my ongoing responsibilities include doing monthly meetings for the executive committee, consulting with the other executive committee members. We, in the past couple of months, our social media coordinator switched over. So there has been a lot of working with the communications committee to not only manage that time between, but to onboard our new social media coordinator, Hannah. Communicating with AMTA board, other presidents, state presidents, putting out the news and notes, managing our GLR calendar, and then collaborating on the strategic plan. I've been continuing my involvement with the governance committee that started when I was president-elect, and we are getting very close to wrapping up our parliamentary procedures, discussions, etc. It's been quite the process, but we're getting close to being at a moving on point. So a couple of quick updates from AMTA. The symposium was this past month. The recordings are still available till the end of February, if that is something that you are interested in. There are 39 CMTEs available. Also, they offered the Spotlight on Music Therapy Research free for AMTA members. If you are an AMTA member, you should have received an email with a code to access that. And it says that is available through the end of December of 2026. This is the current membership for AMTA. This was shared at the Assembly of Delegates meeting in September. And so if you're not aware, there are 3 different tiers now for professional membership. And this is why it's broken down in this way. But I think it's the most important thing to note is that there is a decline, an overall decline of 17% between 2024 and 2025. 30% decline as far as student members. And the only tier that saw an increase was this tier 1, which is the $250 member rate. Looking at our GLR AMTA membership, so these are members of AMTA that live within the GLR region. And this is where our numbers are currently at. We don't see much change in these top couple, but we have seen a decline in grad students. And we have seen a decline in professionals and students. Looking at our total membership from 2023 to 2024, we had a 12% decline. And then from 2024 to end of July, which is the Q2 membership list, we had a 19% decline in membership. And it's important to keep in mind that this doesn't influence our finances. We get a portion of the membership dues from EMTA. So with decline in membership, that's also a decline in revenue that we are experiencing from the membership funds. You may remember that at the March meeting, we talked about how the DEI committee had resigned at the end of 2024. Within our executive committee meeting at the GLR conference, we started discussing our next steps. And then again, because we were going through transition with our executive committee, we felt it was important for us to have an additional special meeting in June that focused solely on DEI committee and where we wanted to go from here. There was an update that was shared with the community in the July news and notes. Essentially, as we looked at our strategic plan, we noticed that we observed that there are 18 DEI related objectives. And this is just unreasonable for the 4 volunteers we had on our DEI committee. So going forward, what we would like to see is to have a DEI work group specifically within our strategic planning that will be project-based. So if you're only able to be involved for one project for a couple of months, that's great. If you're available to be involved more long-term, also great. But the DEI work group would really focus on all of those things that were in the strategic planning. And a DEI committee would serve more as consultants. So the work group would say, hey, we're looking at doing this and this and this. How does that sound? DEI committee say, yay, that's great. Or, I really think you should really consider X, Y, and Z. But we need volunteers. And within the news and notes, we shared a forum. So far, we have received 1 feedback through the forum. It was a positive feedback. And then we received 1 email from someone who wanted some more information about the strategic plan. So if you didn't see it in the news and notes, please check it out. Reach out with any questions. Just send us your feedback. I'll welcome, and we look forward to hearing from people. So looking ahead, Kirby's going to be talking more about this, but we are going forward with doing a leadership academy. This is something I think also that came up through strategic planning discussions. But the first one will be in November, and this is going to be our Cultivating Leadership CMTE. And then in January, we're looking to do a part 2, being more DEI focused. Our strategic planning initiatives, Todd's going to talk more about those. But I'm going to be, like I said, wrapping up the parliamentary procedures work. We are going to need some additional delegates for the assembly. Again, something Todd's going to talk about, as well as our executive committee elections will be coming up sooner rather than later. Finally, we're also going to be looking at additional revenue opportunities. As I mentioned, with the decline in membership, we need to diversify. Ooh, sorry. Finally, if you are not aware, our emails have switched over to the glr-amta.org as the back part. So if you are still using our old email or Gmail emails, those will forward, but the preference is to use now the emails that end with the glr-amta.org. Finally, yes, there really is a Kalamazoo. You can't really see it, but I am rocking there it is. Yes, there really is a Kalamazoo shirt. I look forward to seeing everybody in Kalamazoo. We are going to go back to having 2 1-hour general business meeting. So there'll be an hour on Friday morning and then an hour on Saturday. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that. And were there any questions before we move on? All right, seeing none, I am going to pass the baton to Todd.
Hey, Kelly. Thanks for that. Everyone, good evening. It is so wonderful to get to see you all. And to those that are listening and watching this recording, I hope to get to see you in Kalamazoo. Kelly, did you say there's a shirt that says, yes, there is a Kalamazoo?
Yes, there really is a Kalamazoo.
Okay. All right, so might need to add that to my attire. Anyway, y'all, it's really good to get to be with you this evening. Before I start with my shared slides, I just want to say a huge thank you to Kelly and to the rest of the executive committee our VPs, our treasurer, our secretary, everybody. If I start naming names, I'll leave somebody out. These last 6 months or so since March, it has been just an incredible honor and privilege and pleasure to get to continue to work with this amazing group of folks. Y'all, there are some amazing things happening in the GLR. You're tonight just gonna hear just a snapshot of some of those. But if you ever want to know more specifics or you ever want to get more involved, reach out to any of us. We'd love to talk to you more and answer any questions or concerns. But your leadership is tremendous, and it's an honor to get to serve with everybody. So with that little transition said, I'm gonna screen share as well. Forgot how to do this apparently. How do you screen share? There we go. All right. Hopefully everybody is seeing my slides. I can only see a few of you, and I got to move this. All right. Oh, here we go. As humbly as your past president, there's several areas that I get to kind of oversee and help just kind of manage. But really, every one of these areas are successful because of the team that's behind the scenes. I just get the privilege of sending out meeting invites and bringing the team together and helping where I can. So the first category of that I want to talk to you about this evening is strategic planning. We are a little bit over halfway through our current strategic plan and the current goals and objectives that we've set aside for those, and we're kind of halfway there as far as measurable, obtainable, smart goals and objectives, if you will, that we all know. So here's just a breakdown. I'm not going to go into the details of all of these goals this evening, but you all have access to this document, this presentation, and on the previous slide, strategic planning update is hyperlinked. And so that'll take you directly to the spreadsheet, the master spreadsheet, that I think I gave everybody view access, where you can actually see what goals we have met and what goals we're still working on. But this is a journey. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. We could add any other metaphors to that. But I am excited to report, and I am thankful to my colleagues for helping us get to this point. We had about 70 goals total, which is quite ambitious and exciting, but that shows you how much change we're absolutely committed to seeing through. Of those, we've achieved about 28 of them, and there's some that are super close, like even Kelly was alluding to, related to some of the governance stuff. So you can see how they break down. We have 3 primary areas of these goals: community and engagement, financial and operational and governance goals. You can see we're doing really, really well with the financial side of it. We're getting there, about halfway there with community engagement, and we're needing to get there a lot more with the operational and governance goals. But y'all, a lot of these are also tied to one another. And so as one happens, then several can happen. So a little snowball approach will happen. So what I'm anticipating, like way down the road, is about a year from now, I will be able to tell you that we've done this. We have met all these goals. Or we've identified, and you'll see this in a little bit, we've identified which goals are not obtainable and which goals are not sustainable. And those we will pivot, and we will select goals that are obtainable and are sustainable. And those are the 2 words that I've really been sharing with our strat planning team throughout the summer and also just recently at a recent meeting that we had. I really want us to be looking at these goals through that lens. What is not only obtainable, but also what is then for the long run sustainable for the region. So it's good news, but it's also opportune. It's also an opportunity to do more work, and that's what we're all here to do. Here's the team behind the scenes. Basically what I did here is I just copied and pasted my amazing predecessor and colleague and friend Melane's list, because I didn't want to leave anybody out. And we're only 6 months into the current term. And there were people that were there for the 2024, beginning of 2025. There's some folks who have stepped off. I just didn't want to leave anybody out. And I would love to get to add names to this list. So anybody that's listening to this or watching this, if you want to be a part of this work, it's awesome work. It's very, very fulfilling. It's work. but it's really, really fulfilling and inspiring. So thank you to everybody on this list. Hopefully I didn't leave anybody out. Okay, so to kind of wrap this up, Melaine used to beautifully say, and she and I used to also talk quite a lot about we've accomplished a lot, but we've accomplished a lot, and there is still work to do. And that's why I wanted to be as transparent as I can with you and honest with you as I always would be. We have done a lot, but there is a lot still yet to do. And I'm excited to get to continue that work with everybody. We have also engaged with a lot of folks. You saw that incredible list of people on the previous slide. And let's add more. Let's inspire, let's excite, let's cultivate more people to come on board, more future leaders. And like Kelly was talking about, and Kirby's going to talk about it in a second, this leadership training institute series of training institutes. Kelly just talked about 2 of them, but we have this vision of doing even more. We really, really hope is going to help cultivate and excite and motivate the next folks, the next folks that are going to be the leaders of the region. So again, this strategic plan has really helped us out. It's really refined and redefined who we are. It's really helped us recommit and dedicate who we want to be and who we need to be for our entire community and outside of our community as well. So we will continue to look at our goals and objectives and make sure that they're doable and that we are succeeding at meeting those goals. And we're also going to begin to turn to, okay, how do we sustain all the work that we've done as well? Okay, so that's strat plan. The next area that I get to take care of is the community support and scholarships area of the region. This is where I get to give out money. It's like literally one of my favorite jobs in the world. I love giving out money to anybody other than my daughters because they just keep taking and taking and taking. Joking, a little levity. So I want to say thank you to Krista, Leanne, and Virginia for being our review committee for this. And if you're interested in this work as well, I'd love to have you join us for this. We actually just got in about 6 or 7 applications for our most recent round that closed up October 1st, which is great. So a little bit more about that. Year to date, we have received 12 applications, and I look back at Melane's report last year. We are right at that mark. Last year we had 11. This year we have 12. It's awesome. The next round will be due on December 31st or by December 31st. I don't anticipate anybody sending it in on New Year's Eve, but if you do, that's great. I'll look at it on January 2nd. But those categories are going to be for professional continuing education, as well as for new professional CBMT examination. So be on the lookout for those being sent out to y'all. Wanted to give you another little breakdown into those 12 applications that we have received year to date. Of those 12, most of them are from our students, which is outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. I'm a little biased because I want to support students more than anything in the world, other than my service users, of course. But it's great to get to see that 67% of the applications are coming from students. I wish there was more money to give. I wish there was more opportunities to give to them, but that is awesome. And then you can see the breakdown of the other areas as well. Okay, kind of cool. All right, going on to the next one. What are they applying for? Well, student-based scholarships, which is outstanding as well. So clearly 75% is a request for a intern stipend support. And then you can take a look at the other ones as well, both the CBMT exam as well as for those that are professionals. They're seeking professional continuing ed. So we're not getting rid of any of these areas. Just because they're not being requested doesn't mean we're going to stop sending out applications. We are still committed to making sure that these areas are provided for our members at any time. But I thought it'd be kind of cool to take a look at it this way. Okay. The last main area that I get to oversee, kind of work within, is nominations and elections. And I want to say a huge thank you to Hannah, Laura, and Mark. Y'all have been absolutely incredible to get to work with. And we're gonna move on. Okay, so as y'all know, we just had a round of nominations and an election. You also saw Kelly's report of how many members, paid AMTA members, we have in the region, and the big time drop off. 2 years ago we were at 400, wrote them down, 459, and now we're at 328. Of those, the eligible members, so students and graduate students that are MTBCs, that's in our bylaws, I was able to send 291 individuals a ballot to select their assembly of delegates. Of those, only 12% responded. Now, everybody's busy. I get that. I really do. But y'all, these percentages, these numbers have me very worried about the future of the profession, at least professional membership. On top of that, couple that with we had 11 colleagues that completed the nomination form to self-nominate in an anonymized way, which is outstanding, and my heart goes out to those 11 folks. However, we need 15 people just to fill our Assembly of Delegates, and then we need a few alternates just in case things come up for our Assembly of Delegates and we need an alternate to step in. So we're going to need to hold a second round of nominations. We've already been talking about this as a small committee, the Nominations and Elections Committee, and we have a plan. I've talked to Kelly about it, and I appreciate Kelly, kind of talking it out with me a little bit. That second round of elections, the nominations will go out probably within the next 7 to 10 days. I'm going to be meeting with the nominations committee either this Wednesday or Thursday, or next Wednesday or next Thursday. We just have to decide which day. And then we will get the nominations sent back out to everybody. We have received some very important feedback that I want everybody to be aware of. This feedback was from people that completed the form as well as voted. There has been some concern about the length of the ballots and how much information the ballot is asking for. So the Nominations and Elections Committee, either this week or next week, we've already been looking at the ballot. We've already been making little track changes in it. We will be consolidating some of the questions to make it, as many people have shared with many people on the Elections Committee, it is somewhat of a burden to complete and to read when you vote. So we're going to be consolidating it. We don't want to lose the integrity. We don't want to lose the anonymity. Those are important things that the region committed to a couple of years ago. But we're going to revise it just a little bit. Okay. Once this process is completed and we're able to seat our full Assembly of Delegates, we will then immediately begin working on a brief survey to the entire GLR community, not just those that are eligible voters, but everybody. And what we want to do is we want to seek feedback on the entire election process, because we have about a year and a half at that point before the next election cycle for the executive committee needs to occur. So it's always a process of evolution and of learning. And this is a great opportunity just to take a step back and listen to our colleagues and our community members. Okay. I did want to say, and I'm so sorry, I left off Edie's name. I am so sorry. Edie was a member of our Nominations and Elections Committee. Edie, you're amazing. We're going to miss you. Edie's going to step away just for a little while and then come back. And I changed my email, like group email thing, and I took Edie out because I didn't want to bother them during this time. And so sorry. So Edie, you're not forgotten. You're amazing. We can't wait for you to get to rejoin us when you can. Okay. This is the end of my little spiel. So just thank you to everyone that I get the privilege of working with and learning with and collaborating with. If you have any more questions about anything that I covered this evening, let me know. And then I'm going to unshare, stop share. There we go. I can see everybody. Lastly, I did want y'all to know because it's come up a couple of times tonight. The other area that I get to do, but I haven't had time to do anything with it yet, is a complete review of all of our governing documents. Not the bylaws, that's something beautiful that Kirby does, but all of our policies, as well as the leadership handbook. So before March happens, and I'll report this out to you in March, I'm going to review and take a look at the conflict of interest, the documentation retention guidelines, the media, the whistleblower, and develop our new financial management policy, as well as take a look at our leadership handbook. So all of those are going to be coming to the executive committee for y'all's discussion, for your review, for your work, and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's it. Thank you all for the opportunity to serve. Appreciate you. Any questions?
All right, thank you, Ted. All right, Kirby.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kirby. If we haven't met, I'm your president-elect. I'm in Indiana, and it has been so fun to get to know so many people. And my job tonight is to talk about this leadership academy that we're starting. It is going to be so exciting. And so on the agenda, there's a link that you can click on, and you can see what this leadership academy is about. This is the first presentation CMTE that we're going to be doing, but like Kelly and Todd have both said, this is the start of something bigger, because one of the things that we've noticed is that people want to get involved, but they aren't sure what that means. And if I'm not sure what leadership means or what it means to get involved, I'm probably not going to sign up. So we sat down and we kind of talked through how can we put something together to help people to understand what it means, just period, to be a leader, what that looks like. I think sometimes, especially if we're new professionals, we hear that word leadership and we're like, ooh, that's big and scary, and I'm not quite there yet. Or if we've been in positions of leadership, maybe we aren't recognizing ourselves as leaders, and we already have the skills and we know what we can do with that. So we wanted to put together this 3-part CMTE. And it's going to be Kelly and myself and Todd that are going to be doing this on November the 2nd. So I highly recommend that you go ahead and put that on your calendar now for the CMTE. It's going to be from, did we say Eastern or Central? 2 to 5 Eastern? Eastern. Okay, 2 to 5
Eastern.
Eastern. Thank you. And we're splitting it up into 50-minute sections. So the whole point of this is to, it says here to unpack the foundations of leadership. We're going to talk about what is leadership, what is involved with leadership, what is leadership within AMTA and GLR, and even in your state areas. So the first one is going to be me, and it's going to be a leadership overview. And what I think is really cool about this particular program that we're putting together is, and I alluded to this a second ago, is you can be any level of leader. You can hone your skills if you're an advanced leader, if you have a lot of experience with this. You can start out of the gate if you're a student and you don't have a lot of leadership, or a professional that doesn't have a lot of leadership. This is for everyone. I'm particularly excited about it because I have a lot of leadership experience, but not a lot of leadership experience within GLR AMTA. And I'm going to skip to the second portion of this. It's Kelly's, and Kelly's going to be talking about AMTA overview. She's going to say, what is AMTA? What does AMTA mean to us? What does that mean for you? What are the committees that are within that? And then what does that mean for our region? And how does leadership play a role in what we're doing here, and how can you be a leader within our region? I can't wait to look at all of that because I'm less versed about that. So Kelly, I can't wait. It's going to be so good. And then I'm going to be talking about what leadership is and what leadership is not. And I think from a very basal level, we can understand that leadership is not barking orders, just as a quick example. But what actually is leadership? I think a lot of us, everybody in this room right now, we're all leaders because we're here. We're doing things in our community. We're doing things in our region. That's a leader. And then there are different leadership styles. The way that I lead might be different the way that Kelly leads, that Todd leads. There's no one perfect type of leadership. It's kind of like music therapy in itself is so person-centered and individualized. Leadership can also be individualized. You're finding how you are a leader and how you can lead. And then I'm also going to talk about boundaries, because in leadership in life, period, Boundaries are incredibly important. And I think that sometimes, at least in my experience, we hear that word boundary and we're like strict, we're doing this and that's how it's going to be. Boundaries don't have to be that. So we're going to talk about in leadership specifically, what do boundaries look like and how do you identify what your boundaries are? And I think that that could probably go over into your personal life a little bit too, because those boundary rules are they're just good to learn. And then Todd's going to wrap it up and he's going to be talking about diverse perspectives in leadership. So he's going to be talking about communication styles, how you approach different groups, how do you do conflict resolution? Because as a leader, it's our jobs to be able to go into different situations and be able to make sure that there's not unhealthy conflict, that we're supposed to guide what we're working on. So here's the fun part. We wanted it to be accessible and we wanted everybody to be able to come to this because this is going to be something that is just going to benefit all people involved. So it is $25. $25 for 3 CMTEs. I'm going to say that again, $25 for 3 CMTs. And then wait for it. If you're a student, if you're an intern, it is $0. $0 because we want to empower the next generation of leaders. And if we put a barrier up there because we know that interns don't always get paid and it's unfortunate, but we can help with this by saying it is $0 for your interns or for you as an intern to come to this leadership academy so that you can learn and you can grow your skills. How do you do it? I think I saw Kelly put the link into the chat. There's the forms link is on this page and you just need to go to the form and you need to sign up and then you're good. So we want you all to be able to come. We want you to be a leader in our region, in your community, in your world. And this is one small piece of the bigger picture to help us get there. The end. Yeah, bring a friend, bring 5, bring 6. I don't care. Bring everybody. Thanks, Todd.
Thank you, Kirby. All right, we're going to pass it over to our VPs to talk conference.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get this into presenter mode. We are talking about 3 of the conferences. So me and Ashley are the ones presenting it, but we went ahead and added Allison because Allison did help with the data of 2025. So although Ashley and I are presenting it, a lot of the intellectual kind of information of 2025 did come from Allison as well. So wrapping up 2025, we'll go through this quickly. We've presented it a few times, but we haven't necessarily seen all of this body at the conclusion. We had a really great conference, had the keynote, Free Your Mind, the changes, innovation, and creative breakthroughs that can occur in and out of music therapy by Nathan Minsa. 2 institutes, 10 CMTEs, 51 concurrent sessions, 3 roundtables, 4 affinity group meeting space, and 25 internship fair participants, 17 research. And then we also had our opening ceremony, the exhibit showcase, which was a new name for the exhibit thing last year. So we really liked the name of the exhibit showcase, and then our awards luncheon. Ashley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in this breakdown, you can see a little bit more. We had a lot of people from Ohio. Shocker. We were in Columbus. But we also had people joining us from Pennsylvania, New York, Iowa, Kentucky, Virginia, even some people from outside of the United States. And I attribute a lot of this to having the online accessibility and the wealth of different ways that people could engage with GLR AMTA. So we also had a record number I think, of students at 238 overall. So some really great trends. Sorry, following along on a different screen so I can see the notes. We had 25 of those 238 students that were helped by Pay It Forward. So professionals and other attendees like yourselves donated so that we were able to support and pay back 25 students full registrations for conference, which is, again, taking down that barrier of cost for our students and our interns. So thank you to the 42 donors that gave us that support. We had a lot of wonderful CMTEs and institutes. This year we had the NICU MT Institute, and Noah Potvin presented music as verbal, verbal as musical, kind of on the verbal processes within music therapy practice. And then we had multiple CMTEs with 98 registrants registering for a 3-hour CMTE and 53 registering for a 5-hour CMTE. Overall, it was a great turnout, and we very much surpassed our goal for our revenue that we had budgeted. But this kind of goes into, I believe, our next slide, which is our sponsorship.
Yeah. So last year, Allison and I were really ambitious with some of our sponsorship things, and wanted to try some new things with sponsorship. We still ended our conference in the black, but we didn't meet all of our sponsorship goals. So you can see here, the blue was what we had planned for. The green was what we got. Ashley and I have been making some changes and stuff to see if we could get ourselves a little bit more successful for this year. And so far, we're on track to meet. We've already met one of the 4. Actually, there's 5 now because we went back to adding a silver sponsor for the upcoming 2026 conference. So we do have 5 general sponsorship levels, and we've already met one of them, one of our goals for it, which is great. We're still working really hard on getting sponsorships. We just got some new ones even today. And so our team is working really hard on that. We did choose to pare down some of our exclusive sponsors. We did already receive a bag sponsor, which is fantastic, which means we're going to get great bags again. But we're still looking for sponsors for Keynote, Technology, Continuing Education, Lanyard. These are exclusive. So what that means is at the Keynote, with the technology things, you can read some of the package things that go along. These are really geared for individuals and companies that really are excited about like those types of places, and they will have some exclusive recognition for what the sponsorships include. So we'll continue that again in 2026. Here's some of the breakdown of our cost, the money, and everything that came in with the income on exhibitors. Exhibitors, we hit our all of our goals when it came to the exhibit hall, and everything looked great for that. We're going to be pushing a lot more of the exhibit hall virtual exhibitors. Last year we had 4. It's the first time that we offered exhibit virtual. When we're on site in Kalamazoo in November, we are going to push for local sponsorship for this upcoming year as well. And so really pushing for restaurants. It's $100 to be an online sponsor, but we're going to try to push for like restaurants and places to give like discounts and stuff like that through the exclusive sponsorship opportunity. So it's something that we're working with our local team to also be able to increase some of our income. The more sponsorships exhibitors that we get, the easier it is for us to keep costs down for registration. So getting sponsorships to help pay for conference is crucial and really vital to keep our conferences affordable for attendees. This is our revenue from last year. So you'll be able to see our, in the green column is what we projected, what our actual revenue was. So you can kind of see to some of the breakdowns of where everything ended up. Our total contribution, I'm not sure why it's not. I think it's just the total contributions of the bottom one, whereas I think the other one, oh no, that's because of the sponsorship stuff. So you can kind of see that our registration saved us on some of the exhibit hall and things like that as well. Here's our continuing education, what came in. So again, in the green was our projected, and the red was what came in. So our institutes really carried us as well. So you can see that at the NICU Institute, we brought in $8,100. That is before we split it with the institute. So I think we ended up with the profitability, because you'll see it later on in expense as well. But the 5 CMTEs, 3-hour CMTEs as well, we were very profitable in the CMT category. So hopefully we'll have some some really good continuing education again this upcoming year. We'll have a meeting this week to finalize the program for the CMTEs. So hopefully, again, that'll be something that people are excited about. You can see our expenditures. Again, the green was projected, red was totals, or what the actuals were. And our conference ended up profiting $7,979.34 for 2025. So any questions about 2025 before we move on to 2026? This will be the last time that we hear about conference from last year, even though we're still in this year. So this is how conference land works: is it's last year, this year, and next year, all at the same time at this point. And so you'll get a report about 2027 as well. So does anyone have questions about last year's conference? Kelly, I see you laugh because you totally get it. So awesome. Cool. So again, any profitability for conference is really good. So we've seen lots of conferences that have been in the red. I've seen several of our conferences be in the red. So it doesn't matter if it's 1,000, 2,000, what it is, but a conference in the black is what we need. And so, so we're really excited that this one was a profitable conference. And so, and we're hoping 2026 as well. And we're excited to introduce our conference team and to everybody get excited about Kalamazoo. So I heard that there will be kazoos in Kalamazoo. So we just wanted to share here our 2026 conference team. Our co-chairs I think most of them are here tonight as well, and they have some fun announcements that they're going to give. And so, do you guys want me to read all of our team, or do our co-chairs want to? Ashley, do you want to? You want to do the honors of reading off all of our team?
I would be honored. We have a
Cool.
wonderful team, and we'd be remiss to not say
Really
thank you
do.
to our 2025 team from Ohio as well, because
Yeah.
again, they crushed it. But looking ahead, I'm very excited. We have Marissa Kells, Alicia Snyder, whew,
Alicia. Yep. You got
Alicia,
it.
you know,
It's hard. It's Alicia. Yep. You
I
got it.
appreciate the grace. And Courtney Johnson as our co-chairs, and they each oversee a team of 4 people. So Marissa is I kind of nicknamed our teams this year. We have our outreach team. So our sponsorship and exhibitors duo is Meredith Irvine and Kayla Conklin. They've hit the ground running and we love them.
They're doing
Entertainment and
great.
affairs is Deanna Bush. We appreciate her. And our volunteers and presiders person is Jennifer Smith. For registration under Alicia Snyder, she's doing our people team, for lack of a better term. Erin Wegener, Larissa Morand, Jamie Lawrence, and Lindsay Landek all have hit the ground running and are very excited to be a part of the team. And then under Courtney, she's kind of handling our programming. So we've got our programming chair, Peyton, who has put in many hours so far and I think is getting excited to see the end. And then for our Cvent website and app is Danae Mollenkamp. Amanda Neiman is overseeing our PDF program creation, all 100 pages it seems anymore. And coordinating our instruments is Lois Badeau. So we've got a great team assembled and they are so excited. I can't wait to meet them all in person in November.
Yeah, Ashley and I will be traveling up to Kalamazoo on November 8th to meet our conference planning team for our on-site visit as well. And that's just standard part of conference planning, is that on-site visit to introduce them all to the hotel. So the next couple slides, we're going to let our co-chairs take over. Who is first?
I'm going first. I'm Alicia Snyder, one of the co-chairs for this upcoming conference. In case you haven't seen it in lots of places already, here it is again. We'll be in Kalamazoo, Michigan at the Radisson Plaza Hotel and Suites. It's March 11 through 14. You can see the prices for the room rates there, and there's a great big QR code there. So you can scan that to get to the conference website and to get all the up-to-date information there.
I will say last year we did run out of our room block, and I think 2 years prior to that in Fort Wayne, we also ran out of our room block. We did not in Milwaukee, but we were close. So book your rooms early to guarantee. As far as I know, you don't have to pay for your hotel rooms until you check out. So it doesn't matter if you book today, if you book next week, if you book in a year. Well, don't book in a year because that'll, yeah. But anyways, if you book in 2 months or 3 months, so book your hotels early, because our room blocks, we're still trying to stay conservative on our room blocks, because we pay for the rooms regardless if people book them. So we are anticipating our room blocks selling out. So book your rooms early. Thank you, Alicia.
All right.
Who's next?
I'm next. Hi, everybody. I'm Courtney. I am also one of the co-chairs for conference this year, next year.
Totally should have waited. Sorry.
It's okay. Well, anyways, you see on our screen that we have chosen our keynote speaker for the 2026 conference, and we are super excited to have DeForia Lane as our keynote speaker this upcoming year. She'll be presenting on For Such a Time as This, Reclaiming the Heart, Science, and Soul of Music Therapy. And if you are not sure who Dr. Lane is, I'll read her little bio here for everybody. Dr. DeForia Lane is an internationally recognized music therapist with over 40 years of clinical and leadership experience. As the founding director of art and music therapy at University Hospitals Cleveland Medical Center, she pioneered impactful work in healthcare and education. With degrees from the University of Cincinnati, Case Western Reserve University, and the Cleveland Music Therapy Consortium, she continues to inspire clinicians and students through her heartfelt storytelling, wisdom, and unwavering belief in the healing power of music. So we're super lucky and excited to have Dr. Lane as our keynote speaker this year.
So you guys get to hear it first. So congratulations for coming to the meeting. You guys, we told our consultants, and then you guys get to hear it first. And so we'll do probably a Facebook announcement of that here soon as well. And so we just got the signed contract this week. These co-chairs are killing it. They're doing amazing. So thank you guys. Next.
I'm going to stand in for Marissa today. She had kind of a family emergency, so I'm standing in for her, reading these general announcements. You heard Jennifer talk some about sponsorship and exhibits from last year and how important it is. So again, reiterating, they are open for registration. We added the silver level sponsorship again this year. This is how we keep conference affordable and to be able to keep doing it. So if you have ideas, you can email Ashley and Jennifer. You'll see their emails pop up in just a minute, or go to the conference website and you can connect with us. But we would love more sponsors and exhibitors. The call for papers, the CMTEs, we are in review now. Presenters will be notified soon. And then concurrent sessions, the deadline is in a couple of weeks. And registration will be open in early December. So just keep watching for those dates and all the emails and Facebook posts and social media, all the different ways we will get that information out to you.
Thank you, ladies, for being here. And our co-chairs, like I said, I cannot reiterate enough. They have done such an amazing job. And we appreciate all the work that you guys are putting in and our consultants. So 2026 will be a great conference. We just wanted to give a general reminder. This was something that also happened last year. We are unable to use our space for anything outside of AMT and GLR. So if you are reaching out to ask if you can use one of our rooms, unfortunately, we are not able to do that. If chairs and things get moved and shifted. It is a cost to us to reset rooms anytime that they have to be reset. So it is also, there's some liability things and stuff as well when outside organizations are using our space. So affinity groups that are affiliated with GLR and AMTA, you are still able to meet, and we're still able to give space to affinity groups within our conference structure. But universities, outside organizations, we are unable to. If you do want information for the hotel, we are happy to pass that along. We are more than happy to pass it along. We've already talked to our team at the hotel to find out exactly who we would send you to. And we've talked to our team if you have needs and stuff for AV or things like that that are special for exhibitors and things like that. We've also talked to them. And so it also just helps that it doesn't look like there's favoritism if we give someone space and we aren't able to give somebody else space. So this is just that gentle reminder. Reach out if you are interested in getting space for us to be able to give you that contact information. We are going to go ahead and share our rates. They are also on the website. Ashley, is this your slide? This is your slide. Sorry.
It's all good. I honestly, I think it might be yours, but we can just keep going.
Cool.
Full conference rates are slightly adjusted. So we are hoping to avoid sticker shock and a massive jump from last year's 140 to jumping to 180 next year or something wild. Jen, would you mind looking up the early bird cutoff date?
Yeah, I can look it up. Sure.
Perfect. I just saw that question pop up.
Cool.
But so
It's in February. I do know that.
I do know that as well, but I want to get the exact date.
Yep, you're good.
We are going to be doing incremental increases. So this year for professional early bird, we are at 150. Retired early bird is 95. Student early bird is 60. We did not increase that because we want to keep that accessible to students, as previously mentioned, and interns. And then for family members, $100. The standard price does increase on.
Oh, the early bird is February 5th. So February 5th is the last day to register for early bird, is when early bird will end. So it will be February 5th through 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So we typically try to keep the times of the conference with the time zone of the conference. So for instance, if we try to keep the times consistent with the time zone of the conference. So everything will be in Eastern time. So 11:59 p.m. on February 5th, you need to be registered to secure their early bird rate. And we're targeting early December for registration. I don't want to share that date just in case something happens and we can't get it out, but we're looking at our timeline and target date is early December for registration to open.
Perfect. Like we had mentioned previously, we are continuing to push that online access. This is a great option for those that might have other obligations, but still want to get some continuing education. Because as a member of the GLR or a non-member, you can attend and receive CMTE credits for those 50-minute concurrent sessions. So we highly encourage registration. The online does not include the in-person aspect, but it does have those asynchronous and some synchronous opportunities as well. These prices are different because on Saturday we have our luncheon, and a plated luncheon is increasingly expensive, as we've discovered. So that is where you'll see the $80 on Friday for a professional early bird is slightly different than the $95 on Saturday for a professional early bird. Again, these prices are slightly increased, but we again try to keep them low and affordable, targeting those sponsorship and exhibitors. This is a reminder that there will be no on-site registration. Our conference team is extremely busy that week right before as they're trying to print badges, get the little ribbons figured out, and to avoid any additional stress on our team, we would really appreciate it if you'd register early. That QR code at the bottom was also earlier in our report, but it will take you to the conference website with those rates, the lodging, And as the schedule gets released, that'll also be on there as well. So it is a great link to bookmark.
Online registration does close on March the 3rd, and this also will help us meet our food and beverage minimum quotas with the hotel to be able to give them how many people will be at the luncheon as well. So March 3rd is the date to remember for when registration will close. Awesome. So our last thing to present on is the save the date for 2027, because of it being in Minnesota. We did push conference back a little bit because the weather is a little bit more, and we were able to get a cheaper room rate by going with a week in April. So you can see our room rate is the lowest it's been in a long time with $139. The parking, the hotel only has a garage for valet parking, and so we're working with the hotel for parking in downtown. That would be accessible for folks as well. But we will be in Minnesota. We have not been in Minnesota for a conference since 2015. So although in rotation, it was not the year for Minnesota. And talking with our colleagues in Minnesota and then also Illinois, which is where we would have been in the normal rotation, everyone agreed that going back to Minnesota, because Minnesota was originally supposed to be 21, then 22. Everything kind of fell apart, obviously, for 21 and 22. So this will complete the cycle of everybody getting having a conference in their state in kind of a reasonable time. So save the date for Minnesota and St. Paul. It's going to be April 1st through the 4th of 2027. So Ashley and I did some site visits this summer and saw 4 hotels and narrowed it down to this one. And so we thank you for Todd and Kelly and Kirby for meeting, and Alicia for meeting with us several times to kind of pare this down and get us into a place. But the contract was signed, and we are in contract with the Intercontinental and St. Paul Riverfront for our 2027 conference. So if you have any questions, these are Ashley and my cell phone numbers and our email address, and we would be more than happy to answer any questions about any of the conferences. So yeah, anybody have any questions for us?
I do have a quick question.
Sure.
Ashley, is today your birthday?
It is her birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
You all. I had a wonderful weekend and a great day today, and I get to wrap it up with my GLR pals. It's been wonderful.
So wouldn't it be really fun if we all unmuted and everybody
It's
sang
gonna be-
happy birthday to you? I think that'd be amazing.
That might be a little too chaotic.
It's
And
going to be such a mess, and it's so great.
good mess. All right, everybody, unmute. Everybody, I'm watching your mics. Everybody unmute.
Starting
I'm watching you.
pitch.
Forget starting pitch, whatever. We're across 6 states. All right, ready, set, go.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. This is awesome. Happy birthday, dear Ashley. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Woo!
Many more.
Gotta love that delay.
And that is
You all
on
so
recording.
much.
That is outstanding. That's great.
Poor
Does-
memory.
yeah. Does anybody have any other questions?
Oh, goodness.
Ashley, all the love.
I appreciate you all so much.
We appreciate you, especially joining us here on your birthday and all
It's
the work
really
that you
cool.
do.
It's really cool to be sung on your birthday because it happened to be at once at a conference. 25 music therapists in my session singing.
It's pretty
That's
special.
awesome.
And this last year it would have been very close to it.
Awesome. All right. Next on our agenda is our state reports. And let me see. right. There are a couple that are in our slides. I'm gonna go ahead and share this, but we will jump around. Give me a moment. I will share the slides. All right, Illinois, you're gonna be up first. So Mia, you're on deck. Give me just one moment. I lost my window. Let's try this again. Share. There it is. All right. All right, state reports. First up is Mia Krings from Illinois.
Thank you, Kelly. Um, I am a bit under the weather this evening, so sound very congested, but here we are. So hi everybody, my name is Mia. I'm the president of the Illinois Association for Music Therapy. Right now we have about 120 members in IAMT. That's including students, interns, and our school organizations. That is a pretty significant increase from last year, and it's because of all of the scholarships that we have been offering this year that has brought people in. In regards to continuing education, please, any Illinois music therapists on the call, tonight, save the date for a hybrid CMTE that is going to be about Medicaid and reimbursement on Sunday, November 9th. We'll be in person in Chicago with our presenters and have a satellite location for people to be in person as well in the Springfield, Illinois location. That is, we adjusted this year in, you know, to cater to our central and western and southern Illinois friends, and will also be available online. In regards to advocacy, Illinois music therapists are continuing to apply and get their license. Even though our Medicaid reimbursement was supposed to start in July of 2025, we are still waiting for the information to bill. Our legislative consultant and the national team and Victoria Storm, our government relations chair, are all working very hard to get this information, and there just is no information. So we are anxiously awaiting, and we are hoping that we're going to have more information before the November 9th CMTE, and we will see. Our awards, we do our annual awards at our state meeting at the GLR conference every year, but some scholarships that have gone out this year. This past summer, we sent out $2,200 license fee scholarships to our members. That was made possible by the big fundraiser concert that we did last fall, which obviously gained us the opportunity to give out 20 of these scholarships. That covers 50% of our license fee in Illinois. And then September 30th was the deadline for our biannual Marianne Ferrolo internship scholarship at $500 a piece. And we are currently confirming the winner of that as I speak. In other news, we are about to launch our elections for the 2026-2027 term for our elected positions on the board. That includes president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and our new DEI representative on our board. So keep your eyes out for that. You will have self-nominations, and you're able to nominate other people. And so hopefully we will be able to fill our slate and have a board in the next term. So I think that's it for me, and thank you.
Next up is Indiana, and I know Kathy is traveling. Leanne.
Yeah, I didn't have anything planned for this, but I can do a quick little synopsis of kind of what's going on. I am the past president for AIMT. I don't know our membership numbers off the top of my head. We did at the end of September have our fall conference where we had 2 presentations. that were done, and the conference went very well. We are starting the plans for our spring conference. No specific information on that, but we do have that up and going. With advocacy, the biggest thing really going on in the state of Indiana is the caps that they are wanting to impose on several of the different services, one of those being music therapy, putting a 6-hour cap on the number of hours we can have per month. So we haven't been overly aggressive with the advocacy, because we also still need to work on kind of keeping that relationship, because we're also working on trying to get licensure and things like that. So kind of walking a fine line of how much to press on which issues and things like that. But those are the two current things right now that we're working on. As far as awards, we are currently accepting applications, or it may have just closed, for our student scholarship. So hopefully we will be putting out the information on who has won our student scholarship. And as far as other news, I can't think of anything necessarily right off the top of my head.
Thank you, Leanne. Appreciate you stepping in. Click. There we go. Michigan, April.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Kelly. I am April Fausch-Cullum. I'm the president of Michigan. We have about 60 members right now, which is kind of par for the course in Michigan. We had a fantastic workshop in June, and that was called Rejuvenating Your Music Therapy Guitar Skills. And Jeremy Verweiss presented. And we have another workshop tentatively planned for November 8th. We have not submitted yet to CBMT, so we can't do a save the date yet. But Tara Merrill is on board, and she'll be presenting in person at EMU, and the topic will be on supervision. So keep your eyes out, because it's going to be amazing, and you're going to want to join virtually if you're not in Michigan. And we will have satellite sites that are still being worked on in Michigan. For advocacy, our task force is working with a creative arts lobbyist who is collaborating with members of the Michigan legislature on a licensure bill. And that's kind of just been a roller coaster. For awards, our spring memorial scholarship went to Catherine Rummel at Western Michigan University. And we had a membership award that went to Susan Jenska. I just found out our memorial scholarship is open, but it is not on our website. So the students have received the criteria for the fall, and we'll make our website available to submit soon. We are so excited. Everyone in Michigan is so excited to have conference. You can't even believe how many volunteers we have for conference. This month, one thing that we wanted to do was get our students excited, and we're having a little contest to have Western and Eastern students submit sticker designs so that we can do like a water bottle sticker fundraiser at our booth in the exhibit hall at GLR conference. So we're going to have the students design stickers, and then all of our music therapists in Michigan will vote in November. So that's just kind of a fun thing to just bring people together. And that's all. Thank you.
Do we have anybody from Minnesota? All right. I don't see. All right. What about Ohio?
I can switch hats.
Boop. Doop. Done.
Yay, thanks for the lovely sound effect assistance. Our president is Allison Duran. We, I believe, are right around 100 members strong. We've got a couple universities. Oh, I serve as the vice president for Ohio as well. Sorry, should probably preface that. For continuing education, we just had our one of our fall CMTEs at the University of Dayton. Professor Joy Willenbrink Conte presented on vocal play and vocal exploration. Coming up in October, on the 18th, we'll be up at Cleveland State University, where they will be presenting on supervision. And then in November, we are meeting at Ohio University on Sunday, November 16th. The great news is that both of the upcoming CMTEs are going to be available for synchronous and asynchronous options, both virtual and in person. So we look forward to seeing as many of you there as possible, as we do have that reciprocal thing with all of the other GLR states. For advocacy, we are about 6 months out from our 2-year anniversary for having our license. So we look forward to continuing with that. It is Music Therapy Month in October here in Ohio. So we've started, you'll see a lot of our Facebook posts are about meeting the board. And we have, I believe, our scholarship position is open, but we are still doing scholarships. Don't quote me on that. In other news, we will be opening our elections as all of our elected officers, our terms are all up. So if you are an Ohioan and you are interested in serving even a little bit, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to chat with you and see what might fit your interests and time allowance. Any questions, reach out to us. Wasn't planning on that. Okay.
Thanks, Ashley. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. And Wisconsin.
Hey everyone, I'm Jennifer Craw. I'm the current president of the Wisconsin chapter for music therapy. Our current membership is 84 total, and that includes professional, student, and retired members. That is a little lower than we've had in previous years, but we're really hoping to increase our membership, especially in the student area. Our president-elect, Tiffany Bullrath, we're adding in to our president-elect position where it's within their role to connect with the student organizations and really be that liaison between the student members and the professional members. So we're really hoping to increase our student membership and involvement with that initiative that she's going to be starting here this month. I believe she's scheduled to join into some of the when the students have their meetings at the schools. She's planning to join in to just share what membership looks like for the Wisconsin chapter and get everybody excited about membership and possibly serving when they become professionals. For continuing education, it's been a busy month for Wisconsin music therapists. We had a CMTE and a general business meeting about a month ago now on September 13th, and Tiffany Vollrath actually presented that as well. It'll be very clear to everyone why she's our music therapist of the year, because she does a whole lot. But she led a 5-hour CMTE on the rhythm of behaviors and why music matters. And it was just overall a really great CMTE. We originally had 2 presenters for that, but our second presenter backed out the night before due to illness. So Tiffany led the whole CMTE by herself with just the night before to plan. So she's really the music therapist of the year for our state for very good reasons. So if you know Tiffany, just reach out and congratulate her because she is doing an absolutely amazing job. We also had a Hill Day on September 16th, and I've been checking the Wisconsin legislature websites as one does, and I see that our bill for licensure got introduced this past Thursday. So we do have a bill on the floor that is very exciting because I believe that's the furthest we've ever gotten for licensure. So keep your fingers crossed, keep the vibes good, whatever you do, just keep thinking about us. We also have some, oh, thank you guys. That's very kind. We also have some elections coming up. So our next slate of officers, we do have a full slate. I'm very excited to share that. Um, our elections will be coming up soon, and those officers will take their new roles at the conclusion of the next GLR conference. And our award applications will be coming out soon for our Founders Fund and for Music Therapist of the Year. The only other news that I have to share is we do have a full slate for elected positions, but there are some appointed positions that are vacant. We are actively looking for an archivist, and our government relations chair on the board is in transition at this time as well. So if there's any Wisconsin music therapists on the call that are interested in serving within one of those two roles, feel free to reach out to us. You can contact us through our website, via email, even a message to our social accounts will get to the right person. And that's all from me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you to our state presidents and those that stepped in as representatives. Here we go. I got to get all the right tabs open again. Here we go. All right, that brings us to our announcements. Is there anyone, this can be executive committee member, an ad hoc committee, a standing committee, or a community member? Is there anyone who has any announcements you would like to share?
I do. I just want to remind people of the special projects going on. Those submissions are due October 31st. And then just wanted to give you guys a, we all know this is coming, but don't forget that we do awards at conference. And so that information is going to be coming out too. So I guess my announcement is please check your emails and read the news and notes and make sure you're following along. Thanks.
I did just pop in. If anybody came in late that hasn't done the attendance form, please do that as well prior to doing anything. But please do the attendance form if you haven't. Yes, thanks. The links for the special projects is also in the agenda. So get those projects in. Any other announcements? Going once, going twice. All right. Don't forget, October 22nd is concurrent proposal deadline. October 31st, special projects. And then, of course, November 2nd is our CMTE, Cultivating Empowered Leadership Across the GLR. We would love to have lots of amazing future leaders there and also current leaders as well. If there is nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
This is Todd. I move that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
This is Jennifer. I second.
All those in favor? Oh, Stephanie also second. $17-ish or so. Before we officially adjourn, there's also a link. This is the event satisfaction survey. This is something the GLR does just to make sure if what we're doing is reaching the people and what we can do better. So please fill that out. And then I'm going to adjourn this meeting at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time. Our next general business meeting will be Friday, March 13th. Yes, Friday the 13th at the GLR conference. Again, we'll have a meeting on Friday and a meeting on Saturday in Kalamazoo. Our hands raised because they weren't lowered, or I'm just making sure there's no comments or questions before we go here. All right. All right, everybody. Thanks again for being here. Have a great night, and we'll see you in Kalamazoo.
Thanks everyone for everything you do. Have a good night.